And welcome to one of the best days of the year in Greece, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, a special Greek Chicknopempti day today on my broadcast. And as you can see, the chickens are already amassing. However, if we look up there, we have got the barbecue ready for later on this afternoon when we're going to have our own little barbecue, just me and Jane, because we're not allowed anybody else because of the lockdown. So anyway, that is there standing by. The chickens are there. None of these are going on to the fire, so just to let you know now, we're not eating any of these lovelies. Okay, I'm going to have to give them something, or else otherwise they're going to make a right racket, aren't you, kids, during this? Come on, Em. There you go. There we go. There you go. Let them all rush over for that. As there's a lot of news this morning, and I just really want to just get down and get the news done. Just quickly show you the weather. The weather today is absolutely fantastic. So if this had been a normal year, it would have been absolutely brilliant for Carnival today. Well, Chicknopempti sort of heralding the beginning of Carnival and also getting us ready for Lent as well. We would probably be going down to Kalamaki, go see Claude down at Melon Bar down there. Then we probably go down to Argasi. They have a fabulous, or they have done in recent years, had fabulous carnival celebrations down there. And then we'd follow the float into town on the night of Chicknopempti, where they get lined up ready for Sunday, when the actual first parade of Piccolo would then begin. So we're not going to get any of that this year, and it's sad really that it's not going to happen. But there's been so much going on within the news about what's happening with Greece, and of course the authorities now are going to clamp down like crazy on Chicknopempti, because they know people are getting fed up and pissed off with everything. People just want to enjoy their lives, go out, have a bit of fun, and sod the consequences. You know, there comes a point when enough is enough. But I will be going through some of the stats and figures and the way that the media here are hyping everything up as well to make things sound worse than what they really are. All right. Anyway, looking at the weather again, beautiful clear skies, not much of a wind, lovely and warm, absolutely glorious. It just feels so much like spring. It's unbelievable, and things are looking lovely, and the chickens are reprieved. And we eat the ones here. The landlord seems to eat them. He knows we get an attachment to them. He'll give us the eggs, but he won't give us the meat. There you go, just in case it's somebody we know. But bless. Let's have a look at the stats for the last 24 hours and changes to the law that's been going on in regards to the celebrations of Chicknopempti and civil disobedience and everything else that's going on as well. And also, we've had an earthquake as well, but not here, and I will tell you about that in just a short while as well. Anyway, thanks for all those people tuning in as well. Amanda Gregory, what's your weather forecast for today? Let's see what today's official weather brings in mind. Right, so it's the 4th of March, Chicknopempti, and it is Thursday, and it's day 118 of the lockdown. So, COVID in the last 24 hours. Right, now listen. The Greek press are really ramping this up, all right, in the use of the language, which I hate this. They're sort of exaggerating it slightly to make things sound worse than they are. Now, yesterday we had 2,353 new cases across the country. The Greek press are now saying things are skyrocketing, it's going out of control, as today we have 2,702, all right, recorded within the last 24 hours. Now, that brings a grand total at the moment up to 197,279 since the beginning of the pandemic. Average age of people affected is, the gender that's mainly affected is men, with 51.8%, and 20 new cases were identified coming into the country at checks on the border. Now, according to the national stats at the moment, there's been 3 new cases on Macardo who were in yellow. There was no new cases in Kefalonia who were in red. There are 5 new cases in Corfu who were in yellow, and 6 new cases on Zakynthos who were in yellow. Now, they've changed the colour system, and I'll come on to that in a short while, But anyway, those are the official stat numbers. But locally reporting for Zakynthos, yesterday we only had 3 new cases of COVID here on the island. One was a 51-year-old man and his 2 children. One was 12 from the first high school, and the other was 16 years of age, and they were a student of the first Lyceum. So all of them had mild symptoms. They went to the hospital, they were tested positive, and they've all been sent home to self-quarantine for 14 days. And obviously, contacts are now being traced of them. So at the moment, Zakynthos for the month of February had 70 cases, and now for March, we've had 14 cases, positive cases here on the island. And since it all began, Zakynthos has had 111 positive cases since the beginning of the year, all right? So as things go, the numbers are up a bit, but nothing too major, I would say, to be concerned about. Now, when it comes to deaths at the moment across Greece, they are up from 23 reported the other day to 40 reported last night, bringing the death toll at the moment since the pandemic started to 6,597. The average age of those people passing away was 79 years of age. 96.4% of those people had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. And our condolences to the families who've lost people at this time. It's an awful day to be losing people. To lose anybody is bad at any time. But on a day like this, when everybody just wants to celebrate and have fun, it obviously adds to the pain. Now, just to put things in context, the average daily death rate in 2019, long before COVID ever started, was about 329 deaths a day, all right across the country. Zakynthos so far, we've only had 1 death this year, and that was in February, and that was a 70-year-old lady who had underlying conditions and problems, and she passed away here on the island. So, at the moment then, when it comes to critical cases, they're up, but not by much, all right? Yesterday we reported 422 critical cases, and now they are reporting 431 critical cases in ICUs across the country. 302 of those are male, 129 of those are female. And the average age for those people in ICUs at the moment is 68 years of age, with 86.5% of them suffering from secondary health issues or over the age of 70. So that's the stats at the moment. I'm just going to quickly talk about the earthquake yesterday, which is kind of important because this is what I could call a proper earthquake, not earth tremors, but a proper earthquake. Now, several buildings collapsed as an earthquake measuring 6 on the Richter scale took central Greece at 12:15 yesterday. There were no reports of any injuries at this time. The tremor struck actually 121 kilometers or 75 miles southwest of Thessaloniki, near the town of Elsona in the region of Larissa. Now, Larissa is one of those areas that's been hit quite heavy with the coronavirus. Anyway, the worst hit village is in the area of Messassori, near Thessalonia, where a local church and some older houses were damaged. There was talk that the church collapsed. All right. The mayor of Asasona, Nikos Gattas, said that he has already given an order to begin inspections for any damage to all public and municipal buildings. He also says the most recent earthquake in that area dated back to 1781, which then had a magnitude of 6.2. So in that area, they've not really been used to like bad earthquakes in the same way that we've had them in the Ionian Islands. Anyway, they were saying that the earthquake that took place in that time, 1781, was on par with the scale of yesterday. So again, they've been given special dispensation in regards the lockdown measures that are now coming into play, which I'm now going to go on to now. Now, yesterday, as I said, we were expecting an emergency meeting. Because they normally have one on a Friday about COVID. They decided to bring it forward to Wednesday because of today, TSKINOPEMPTI. And the Deputy Minister for Civil Protection and Crisis Management, and the Nikos Hadrialis, confirmed last night the addition of further regions now designated as high risk. Now, he did do colours of dark red, light red, and to me, absolute madness, all right? So I'm going to go with the wording high risk, and there's another increased risk, all right? So at the moment, further regions were put into the high risk category. This now includes the Attica region, also Thessaloniki, Larissa, where the actual earthquake took place. Also, Corinth is also in that area. Rhodes and Heraklion in Crete are in that as well. And Kalymnos is also in that. But also noting that on Eva at the moment, except for Skyros, that area there hasn't been put into the high risk. That has gone into the increased risk, which is where Zakynthos is in the increased risk. Now, what does that mean for us being in the increased risk? Well, it means that the restrictions came into force at 0600 this morning. And except for Larissa, they've been delayed there until Saturday, obviously due to the earthquake. And the focus there is basically to get help into that location and obviously not be impeded by COVID restrictions, so that obviously can get aid in there and obviously do what they need to do to help clean up the mess. So now the focus at the moment for us here now is a traffic ban, or basically a curfew. Now, luckily, we're in the position, being here, of being in the increased risk, that our curfew is as it has been, from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the morning. So there's no change for us here on Zakynthos. Now, whilst in areas of high risk, all traffic has been banned, and they've got a traffic ban from 7 o'clock at night until 5 o'clock in the morning, with, again, exceptions being the Attica region and Thessaloniki. And the reason for that is because they're such metropolis areas, it's kind of impossible to put a traffic ban in and for the city still to continue, because you have people working 24 hours a day, doing shifts and stuff like that. So therefore, they've decided for that area that they will not get the curfew from 7 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, they said the traffic ban will go in those areas, Attica and Thessaloniki, from Monday to Fridays from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock. So they haven't escaped it completely. It's just they're not having it as tight as some of the other areas that are in that bracket. Now, this is the important thing. Regarding SMSing, that is obviously still in operation. The codes 2 and 3 can now only be used for movement within the municipality or for up to 2 kilometres. So basically what we've been told now, 2 and 3, 2 is shopping, and 3 is doing other business, like you have to go down to the police station, or you have to go to see your accountant or something like that. Unless your accountant is within 2 kilometres of where you're living, you're not going to be able to do that for a while, up until the 16th of March, all right? This is how long these restrictions have been put in place. And again, it means that for us, shopping-wise, where we live, it's more than 2 miles to Lidl, or 2 kilometres to Lidl. So I think the village shop here is going to be doing some business, all right, over these next few days, all right? Now, also when it comes to code 6, that is exercise. Yes, you can still exercise, but only on foot or by bicycle. You are not allowed to use any motorised transport to go and exercise, i.e. you're going to drive down the beach and go for a walk along the beach or whatever, or get dropped off somewhere and run back to the house. Okay, you're not allowed to do that. You're only allowed to basically exercise around the local locality of your home, and that's it. So if you get caught out on the roads and you say you're exercising and you've been driving in your car down to the beach to get there, you're going to get booked and you're going to get fined. Now, the interesting one is code 4. Now, code 4 was to help a friend, and that was kind of the sort of get out thing for people who just wanted to swan about. I'm off to help a friend. Now, it seems that from today, you're going to need detailed documentation that you'll need to confirm you'll need to travel. So God knows what they mean by that, whether you're going to have a letter from whoever it is you're going to see, or you've got to be able to prove to a policeman that your journey is for a good reason. I don't know. But again, at the moment, that is the wording that's coming down, and it'll be interesting to see how that will work out. Now, the other thing that is also happened is, I'm afraid, we're back to the old click and collect. I'm afraid all the shops with clothing, footwear, bookstores and hairdressers, they can operate. However, you've got to book an appointment on a daily basis. Yes, so if you want to go get clothing, footwear, bookstores and hairdressers, you require an appointment for that. That to me seems a little extreme at the moment. I can understand making an appointment for a hairdresser's, but to go to a clothing, footwear, bookstores and stuff like that, which had been given special dispensation, it looks like, yeah, you've got to book an appointment. And how many times do you book an appointment to go to Libradora? It is a big bookshop down in town to go and buy paper. I don't know. Again, one of these weird little rules that's just come in because of TSKINOPEMPTI. Also, as regards religious services, because there is quite a few religious services at the moment, religious services can only be performed now in churches and in cathedrals from the looks of it, with a maximum of 9 worshippers being allowed, obviously, inside the building. Now, the other warning that has been given as well, and this just come this morning, is that the Greek barbecue police, that's what I'm calling them, they're going to be out today. And they will be checking on celebrations, and they are going to intensify their checks to make sure that all measures and restrictions are being followed. So again, we're not going anywhere. We're staying here, and we're going to do our own thing on the balcony. We'd rather be in a massive group, maybe down in Argosy having fun down there, or down at Claude's down in Kalamaki. But I'm afraid for this year, we're not going to see TSKINOPEMPTI like we have done in previous years. And trust me, it is going to be missed big style. Anyway, also some more news for you. Reference vaccinations here on Zakynthos. As of yesterday, the platform for people living on Zakynthos who want to get the AstraZeneca vaccine and your age between 60 to 64, that platform is now open. So you can either go to the pharmacy or go to your accountant or go online and you can start to book appointments. Now, the thing is, we're still waiting for the arrival of the vaccine. And it seems that this vaccine, after the MP had said, I'm been talking to my mate, the health minister, and we're going to get the vaccine here. It seems this might actually be happening at the moment. He's given no timings, but it's just the vague wording. The first vaccinations will start in the following days. So let that be what it is. Once you book your appointment, you're probably going to get a closer understanding as to how long you're really going to wait. But one thing that was said in the local press yesterday, that the second vaccine will be in 80 days after you had the first one. So obviously you want to get people vaccinated first on the first round, and then the second will be 80 days after that first vaccination. But we're waiting to see if it's going to happen. The other thing about the vaccination is they're going to vaccinate 2 groups, the people above 65 over to 80 odd. They're going to be vaccinated at the same time as the 60 to 64-year-olds are going to be vaccinated. So there's going to be 2 lines for vaccination, and it's still going to be at the hospital and not at a vaccination centre somewhere else on the island, unless they decide to change it, because there might be obviously the demand for it. But again, we'll keep our eye on that story. And the other good story as well is that the Greek Minister of Health, Vasilis Kallikas, has confirmed yesterday evening that the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has now been approved for the over 65s. He also stated that April will be the month of increased vaccine deliveries, with Pfizer Biotech committing a delivery of 1 million doses of their vaccine to Greece in April. So we shall wait and see that that comes true, and that the old EU don't go and try and bottle in onto it and then mess it all up. Another little story which caught my eye yesterday concerns the island of Strofadia. Okay, now off the coast of Zakynthos, there's an island with a monastery on where St. Denis stayed there for quite a while, and his body was actually buried there for quite a while before being moved here back to Zakynthos. And you may remember that last year we were talking about 13 million euros had been assigned for the restoration of the island, and it would become another location for people to come and visit here in Zakynthos. And basically all that was happening was a tender was being signed, 13 million euros from the Cultural Ministry was being pledged towards this project. Now, all of a sudden, that seems to have ground to a halt. And the person responsible for that is Mrs. Mendoni. She, at the moment, is at the centre of the sex allegations concerning the National Theatre, where she had employed the director there, who's had to step down because of allegations of sexual impropriety with minors running it. And at the moment, the island now is breathing a sigh of frustration because for some reason she has now decided to torpedo the money for the actual project to go ahead. So now at the moment they're saying she's looking at the fine print. She's wiggling her way out at the moment, and there's been a delay put on that. And again, it was something that I think the island was actually looking forward to. I know the Archbishop here has been campaigning for that for years, to get the island and get the monastery there into a safe state. And at the moment, the monastery is unmanned. There's nobody on the island at all. There used to be a monk there many years ago, but he passed away and nobody's took up his job after that. And it was just another place for people to obviously go and visit, Christian pilgrimage, or just out of curiosity, just to see this monastery in the middle of an island. So at the moment, the plans for that seem to be on delay. And the reason for that is the Minister Culture, she has decided to start looking at contracts and stuff like that and decided to call a halt on that. Another story at the moment that also caught my eye, and again, another distressing story here. It's not the sort of stories you want to hear about Greece, but it happens everywhere. A senior prosecutor has now ordered a preliminary investigation into press reports claiming that 2 underage children were sexually abused at the Agatha Sophia Children's Hospital in Athens. Now, according to the reports, a hospital employee filed a complaint against a paramedic, claiming that he had committed inappropriate sexual acts against minors in the hospital. Now, the alleged suspect has been suspended while an administrative investigation is underway. So again, a lot of people are now coming forward with stories of impropriety going on, and it's about time because it has been brushed under the carpet for many years. And I've got a bit of a nice and finally story, which is quite interesting, linked in with the restrictions that are going on with TSKINOPEMPTI. The French President, Emmanuel Macron, and his wife, Brigitte, they will be attending Greece's annual celebration on March the 25th, commemorating the bicentennial of the beginning of modern Greece, with the War of Independence in 1821. So, yeah, the French are definitely coming. You might remember we were talking about this story a few months ago. Macron wanted to get the French Air Force involved to fly jets over because they just done an arms deal as well, selling jets. France has sold them to Greece. Obviously, Mr. Putin was asked to attend. He said no. I'm not going. And again, it was quite odd that he had been invited, but the reason they gave was, well, he was one of the allies at the time. During 1821 when they were fighting the Ottomans. And of course, Prince Charles is coming, but only depending on how things are in regards to COVID at the moment as to whether he would come. So he's not said he would come 100%, but the French, they want to be there. And so Mr. Macron will be there. Oh, and by the way, it's the 25th of March. So we'll see if your man is going to get his parade, because he sounds like he wants his parade, Mr. Mitsotakis, and we will see if it transpires. So anyway, there you go. Right, that's it for the news. I can see a lot of people tuning in at the moment. Emma Marku, nice to see you. Thank you for your comments yesterday on the news, and also thank you for your comments about your friend who felt she had to have the injection. She didn't want the injection. She felt that she'd failed in some way. And she felt side effects from the injections, but she's not sure if that was more psychosomatic or it was real. But the main thing was that she felt that she failed and she let herself down by actually having to have the vaccine because at the end of the day, she wants her life back. And this is the way we're all being, shall we say, coerced at the moment. But I'm not saying don't have it. If you want to have it, you have it. If you don't want to have it, at the moment, I'm holding out for as long as I can. However, the reality is if I want to work, if I want to go somewhere, if I want to do something, I'm going to have to conform. And that's it. They don't want non-conformists anymore in society. They want us all to do as we're told and be like sheep. And where they tell us to go, we go. So again, freedom is slowly being eroded away for our safety. How patronising is that? Anyway, Wiggy Winstanley, thank you for tuning in yesterday. I talked to Wiggy yesterday about the passing of, oh God, I can't remember the guy from, I've lost it, Bunny Whaler. We were having a chat about that. Thank you for tuning in yesterday to the show. Had a great show yesterday. Ian Booth is tucking in as well. Steve Hinklin says, watch that chicken. I'm watching it. What's going on? Wiggy Winstanley says, morning. Shane Bowen is watching over there in Exmoor. Nice to have you tuning in yesterday as well, fella. Margaret Miller is also tuning in. Lovely to see you as well. Shane Bowen says, Ginge, send me over a burger. Yes, with pleasure, fella. It won't be a chicken burger, that's for sure. Steve Hinklin says, Gallimera, it's raining in the UK. Oh, it's raining in Stoke, bless you. Julie Allen is also watching as well. Ian Daly's watching. Jerry Coyle. Steve Hodgson up there in the northeast is watching. Amanda Gregory's weather forecast is morning Ginge. Blue skies, warm and sunny high of 18 degrees with a pleasant breeze. Will feel like 22. Enjoy. Have a good day. Well, we're going to enjoy it as best we can as we are locked down. I'm going to have to disappear away now. We've got things to do. And it's, I've just got to say this. Steve Hodgson has sent me a message. He says, hi, Ginge, day 8 with COVID-19 and still in bed. It's wiped the station out. Oh, wow. I'll have to learn more about that. Is that because you've had the injection or because people are having to social isolate because people are coming down? Anyway, thanks for that, Steve. I'll look into that as well. As quick look, Andrew the Fridge Watkins, David Lowry, Linda, Peter Dyer says, good morning, Ginge. Vaccine is on a rowboat on its way from Patra. Thank you for that one. Ian Booth says AstraZeneca. That's the one he probably obviously wants. Jill Ponson says, Gallimera, Ginge. Peter Dyer says, Gallimera, everyone. Have a good day. Christy Wildred is watching. Tim Crystal says, good morning from a wet and cold Oxford. Well, one thing we can say here, it's not wet at the moment and it is not cold. Anyway, I'm going to have to go now. Things to do. But once again, just be aware for those people living here on the island. The police are probably going to be out in droves today. They're just looking to book people. They want to make an example. And what will be interesting is this. If at the end of this enforced lockdown going until the 16th, okay, of March, the level increases in the way of infections, does that mean that lockdowns do not work? Should we just let the virus do what it naturally wants to do? Let's get this herd immunity going, protect the vulnerable, and just do a bit of what the Swedish did? Is it now time to change the line of approach? We're never going to get zero. Never going to get zero. Let's kind of wake up to this, Mr. Matakis. If you think you're going to get zero, you've got to be joking. Boris is thinking the same, and it's worrying me. He's already said he's going to extend furlough till September, and that's going to affect us here. I'd have a word with your mate Tony Blair and get him to have a word with Boris, and let's see some common sense start playing up here. Okay? Just a thought. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with that. Somebody sent me a last little message saying, I will never conform. We all say that, but in my remembrance of the military, escape and evasion, there comes a time you have to become the grey man, all right? You have to sink into the background, don't raise your head, be quiet, let other people take the flak and take the shit. And at the moment, I'm certainly not a grey man. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. You take care, have a great day, and enjoy your TSKINOPEMPTI wherever you are. And if you're having it at home, why not post some pictures up online of you enjoying yourselves? I tell you what you could do. You could do the old Peter Kay, I'm looking for compensation line, miserable faces of having your having your TSKINOPEMPTI, COVID TSKINOPEMPTI, all right, with the miserable face. Here we are, happy, and we're safe, enjoying ourselves, or kind of enjoying ourselves. And don't get nicked for going to Lidl to buy more meat. All right, there you go. I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.